Hey, Doug Walker here. I am doing a vlog on The Visit. Sadly, Rob is still out of town. He's coming back tonight, though. And there's two movies I really wanted to see, and that's The Visit, and I also want to see Hotel Transylvania 2, but I was out of town. I'm back now, and it's closer to October. This makes sense. I don't get why they're releasing in September. Well, I kind of do, but it's that early in September? All right, I'm getting off track. So this is The Visit. This is the newest Shyamalan film. I really wanted to see this even before it got supposed good reviews, which really shocked me. So yeah, I'll start by saying the critical feedback of this film has mostly been positive. I mean, not like through the roof positive, but I mean like, what's like 67% last I looked or something like that? That's pretty good. For a Shyamalan film, that's amazing. And then the feedback I've been getting from audiences and people and stuff like that is kind of half and half, mostly leaning towards good, but the big thing people are saying, oh, this is Shyamalan's big comeback, and he's back to form, and he's great, and then the other half are kind of saying, no, look, this is good by Shyamalan standards, okay? This is still awkwardly written, awkwardly acted, it's still bizarre, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and some say it's a dark comedy, some say it's a horror film, some say it's a thriller, a suspense, and, you know, all this stuff I'm hearing, all these things, so I finally went to see this movie. All of them are right. Like, it's, in my opinion, like, everything that is said about this movie is pretty much correct. It's just gonna come down to your personal preference. I mean, I guess as most movies do, but I think this more than others. The film, if you don't know, is about two kids who go to see their long-lost grandparents. Them and their mother had a falling out, so the mother allows them to go see the grandparents because they got in contact with them after years and years. And yeah, the grandparents are just odd, and they're strange, and they do weird things, and the kids film everything. It's a found footage movie. And yeah, you're just trying to figure out if what is going on? Is this a legit something they should be afraid of, or are they just old people being old people, as they put it in the film? And, okay, so when the movie started out, I'm watching it, I'm saying, it's a Shyamalan film. I mean, there's never a moment where I 100% believed the actors. But again, it's better than most of his other films. I sort of put it on the first Paranormal Activity quality acting, which I know a lot of people say is good acting. I don't get that. I think it's not very convincing, but here's the thing though, the writing is still kind of awkward. They still don't quite talk right, but there's a little bit of an excuse in it. Like the girl, for example, is filming everything. She wants to be a filmmaker. She can be a little pretentious, and that's allowed. The boy wants to be a rapper. Stay with it. Wants to be a rapper, and he's obviously a little odd. He's a little white kid from the suburbs and stuff. He wants to be a rapper. But the raps are funny, and not like, oh my god, they're really trying to make us laugh with this. They're legitimately funny, and the kid's performance with it is a lot of fun. The old people are strange. So, you know, you're kind of listening to them, and it's like, okay, this kind of works. You don't know quite what's going on with them. And the only one I can never quite fully, like, oh, I'm having trouble with this, is the mother. You don't see much of her, but every time she's on screen, again, I just think like, you know, oh, we're in Nika acting from Paranormal Activity. Like, just, it's really awkward, it's really weird, and it's never convincing, but I take it back. There's a bit at the end that's okay. But yeah, so this stuff is going on, and I'm watching it, and like I said, there's these awkward isms going on that's in most Shyamalan films, but they're toned down, and I'm still interested in what's gonna happen. Despite the problems with it, there's enough charm and intrigue that I'm interested. I want to see this to the end, and I want to see it to the end for the right reasons. I don't want to see, oh, it's so bad, it's good. No, I legitimately want to know what's going on, and I want to make sure these two kids get out okay. If there's even anything to worry about, the film is very good at not giving away whether... It's very good at not giving away what's going on. There's a few hints, and actually I almost got it. I had like sort of a feeling what was going on, and then when they actually do get to the reveal, it's just like, you know, damn it, how did I not put this together? whatever, I felt like such a doofus. But I like that too. I like a film that legitimately tricked me. But the other good thing about that, two good things about that. One is that they lead you into a lot of directions thinking it might be something else. And they're done very well. They're good MacGuffins because once you do know what's going on, they still work. This is still stuff they would hint to and they would say and so on and so forth. But the other thing, even if you do figure out what's going on, it's kind of like The Sixth Sense in this way, even if you figure out what's going on, it's still entertaining. In fact, you could make the argument it's more entertaining. And that's a really good... That's a good way of telling a story. Yeah, I always say that's sort of the testament of a really good story is even if you know beginning to end what's going to happen, you still want to see it. You're still intrigued by how it's done and what's going on. So there's that, but now let me get to the best part. And no spoilers, don't worry, I'm not going to give it away. But the last third of this movie, I don't think I have ever been in such a state of suspense and laughter at the same time. And again, for the right reasons. It's not it's so bad, it's good thing. I was legitimately laughing my head off throughout the whole last third of this movie, but also, like, really concerned what's gonna happen, and it's really, really suspenseful, and I've always wanted to see a movie that was both scary and funny at the same time, and I've never gotten that movie. There's some movies that have come close. Evil Dead 2 is kind of close, but it's like, it's not really scary. Were you ever legitimately scared in that movie? Or, like, I think the closest thing I ever came to was, like, the librarian scene in Ghostbusters. That's both really creepy and funny at the same time. You're sort of going, ah! And you're going, the whole climax of this movie is like that, and I'm trying to control my laughter throughout the last third of this movie because most everyone else in the theater is really creeped out and they're really, and I guess they were more sucked in by the scariness of it than the comedy, but there is definitely comedy. It is a beautiful mix of comedy and suspense and horror, and it's just a blast. The whole movie is worth it just for this last third. And even before that, though, like I said, I was interested to know what was happening, what was going on. These actors still had to deal with really hard to say dialogue that's just not very natural, but I say about 50% of the time I believe it, and there's enough charm to them that I say, oh, okay, I want to know. Like I said, I want to know what's going to happen to these people, and I am concerned for them. I'm concerned they get through. And even some of the quirks that Shyamalan just, shoves in your face in these movies, I saw them introduce them going, okay, God, we're gonna do this. Like, the kid's a germaphobe, the girl being a really pretentious filmmaker. But all of it, especially the germaphobe thing, does come into play. And it actually does tie in very well and very naturally. Because I really thought this was going to be forced, this was going to be awkward, but it works okay. Like, once in a while they'll make a reference to the germaphobe thing to a point where you kind of forget. It's like, oh yeah, and you're kind of saying, well, wait, aren't there scenes where he's crawling around the dirt and the snow? So wouldn't he be, like, concerned about that? But I don't know. It could be a flub with the movie, whatever. There's a lot of little things like that, a lot of little details. Like, first of all, this camera is way too fucking good for any suburban kid to have. I mean, even the size of them. I know these cameras can get, like, really detailed, a really good picture, from small sizes. But I mean, like, these are clearly really high-end cameras. And the microphones on them must be the fucking best in the world. You can hear the grandparents from miles away talking. So it's one of those things where it's like the little details. If you don't like this movie, it's 100% understandable. And I'm not going to be like, how can you possibly... No, it's still awkward. There's still a ton of problems with it. But the stuff that's good, for me, was good enough to say, you know what, I'm really glad I saw this movie. And it was very enjoyable, honestly, from beginning to end. I can't think of any times where I was like, oh, we're doing this, okay, let's go and stuff. But it's really, from beginning to end, it was a lot of fun. And it was short. it was just the right length. It was just the right amount. Well, okay, in my opinion, it should have ended maybe 3 minutes earlier. There's an additional 3 minutes where it's like, okay, I see why you have that, but man, if you ended 3 minutes earlier, wouldn't that just been like going out on a high note? But you had to give kind of like the sentimental ending and stuff, and it's like, okay, whatever. And it's not badly written, you know, to his credit, but I'm like, oh, if you ended 3 minutes later, I would have just been like, yeah, woo! Because the last third is so much fun. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. If you cannot get past those awkward moments of writing and some awkward acting and stuff like that, a lot of it comes from the writing. Honestly, the acting, I say maybe with the exception of the mother, mostly it's these people trying to make this dialogue sound natural, and it's still Shyamalan dialogue. It's very tricky to do, you know, but it's still, that 50% when they get it right, for me, was good enough. And the story and the pacing and everything, what was so enjoyable to me. But there are still plot holes. There are still things that don't make sense. And if that kind of stuff really gets to you, like, I get it. There's people that are not going to be able to overlook that, and fair enough. You know, you're supposed to be suspending your disbelief for this, and they suspend it too much. But for me, there was just enough to make it legitimately enjoyable and a lot of fun. Even at the points where I'm kind of rolling my eyes and moaning at some of the dialogue. Like I said, I really legitimately wanted to know where this was going, and it was throwing me for a lot of loops. I didn't know, well, wait, are they going this direction? Are they? And again, kind of knowing Shyamalan's writing, it's like, are they gonna go this route? Because he's gone this stupid route before. Like, he's gone this really, really bad route, and I don't know. It could still go that way. I mean, we don't know how far Shyamalan has come or whatever, but it goes just the right direction, and it misleads you in just the right ways, and it gives enough hints in just the right ways, and even if you figure it out, it's still a lot of fun to watch, and it's a lot of fun to see what's going on. It's fun to see the interaction, even if you know what's going on. So, yeah, that's about it. I hope somehow that helps clear that out. Like I said, I totally understand when somebody says this is still stupid, it's better than most of his stuff, but it's still stupid, don't go see it. And I understand when people say, man, this was a lot of fun, I highly recommend it and everything, so it's just going to depend on what you can overlook and what you're kind of focusing on. Like I said, for me, there was enough charm and intrigue and good storytelling to say, okay, I'm on board for this. I'm being dragged a little bit, but I'm walking a little bit too. I'm like, no, okay, I still want to get there, even if you gotta drag me through some of it. And I'm glad I did get dragged along. I'm glad I went from walking to wanting to go on to sort of jogging to like running. Like, I really want to know what's going on. I really want to know what's happening. So, and I can't think of the last time I've said that about a Shyamalan movie. But on top of the Shyamalan movie thing, like I said, it's the first film where in the last third, I was legitimately scared and laughing at the same time, and I've always wanted a movie that did that, and I finally got it. Who would have thought Shyamalan would be the one to do it, and to do it in the right way? But I finally got it for me. Is there another one out there? Possibly, but I haven't seen it yet, and it was so much fun, and I was just... like I said, the last third is just a blast, and the lead up to it in this is a lot of fun too. So, yeah, that's about it, people. Hopefully I shall be with you tomorrow, or soon, I should say. I'm going to try and see it tomorrow, for Hotel Transylvania 2. I really like the first one, so I'm curious to see how the second one is. And, yeah, that's about it. I shall see you later.